we have a new bill filed last Friday, and this can completely reframe the advanced air mobility, namely eVTOL aircraft certification network, just in case you missed it in the first part. Let me just quickly get back to the studio and we come back to the analyst room and go through the news and break it down. There we are, everything is fixed. Yes, that should be all sorted. I do apologize, I had a wrong scene. So we can see everything is coming through. The audio is fixed. I think we can come back to the analyst room and focus on the topic of the day. There we are. So what happened on Friday? Well, a new bill was filed and introduced. It's not approved yet, but let's not get there. Let's not get ahead. Let's get there step by step. I'll just do quickly one more thing. Let me just quickly come back to the main studio and I will be with you in the very second. That is working. Okay, now we are rolling. So there we go. Just had to change the backdrop. So what happened last Friday? This came out completely unnoticed, but this can be a big catalyst for the eVTOL market in very near future. First of all, let's start with what happened last year. The big beautiful bill. What is the big beautiful bill? Well, let's start with the bigger picture, as I said. When people talk about the big beautiful bill in aviation, they usually are referring to the major federal infrastructure and aviation funding packages, especially the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Acts, which was signed into law in November 2021. And then Donald Trump signed a new bill that sort of enforced and enriched this bill, if you will. So this was the largest reset of the US transport and aviation policy in decades, full stop. What it actually is, well, we know it was a big catalyst for the eVTOL market. So it stabilized the long-term FAA funding, Federal Aviation Agency, the regulatory body of the North American or United States aerospace. It funded the traffic control modernization. It upgraded airport infrastructure, supported sustainability and electric aviation, and formally recognized advanced air mobility as a strategic sector. Again, this is why it's a massive catalyst for the eVTOL market. Because finally now we don't have a special group. We now have a branch, a little branch that is self-sufficient and recognized. So that's great. That was great news last year. The core idea was simple: build the ecosystem and give next generation aviation political backing, which obviously happened and has been working, because we have more to come. It also focused on money and infrastructure, not on speeding up certification. So we still had the current old frame under the new funding and infrastructure. It built a runway, as you would say, but it didn't clear the traffic jam, if you will. The gap still exists today. But we have a new bill. As I said, last Friday, we got filed. Very interesting and could be very key moment for the advanced air mobility industry. So what is being proposed in the new bill? Well, let's move to the proposal. This is the Aviation Innovation and Global Competitiveness Act. This is what the bill is called. It's not about funding. It is about fixing how the FAA processes new aircraft certification. So, an example, this aircraft, ACHR Aviation's Midnight. Flying taxi, 4 passengers, 1 pilot, completely novel technology. Needs to go through certification. So it it justifies the aircraft is sound and safe to be used in the civil airspace. So what this bill aims to do, it introduces clearer timelines for the FAA responses. It clarifies when issue papers are required. It also expands delegation to qualified engineers. It improves transparency and reporting, and it reduces unnecessary bureaucratic delays. And this is probably the most important part. So from low transparency of the FAA body, we are now moving onto the congressional oversight. And this should speed up a lot of certification processes. So importantly, it does not lower safety standards, and it does not weaken the current regulations. It targets inefficiency, not the oversight. Who is supporting this bill? We have few senators who take part in this bill. This is a bipartisan effort. So the key Senate supporters are Ted Budd, Peter Welch, Ben Ray Lujan, John Curtis, and also supported by other senators like Alex Padilla, Jerry Moran, Cynthia Lummis, and Todd Young. On the other hand, on the other pole, on the other side, we have industry supporters. And who could benefit from this? Well, just look at the market-leading companies, the market-leading original equipment manufacturers. You have ACHR Aviation, Joby Aviation, Beta Technologies, you have Wisk, Aero, you have Boeing. So this tells you the industry sees certification friction as the main bottleneck. And we will see this in the coming couple of weeks, because next week we are covering Joby Aviation's earnings, and the certification, the aircraft certification, will be the main spotlight. Same as ACHR Aviation the following week. So this definitely comes in handy. Where are we now? What is the legislative status? Very important point. This bill is not law. It has been introduced to the Senate, introduced to the House, and referred to the committees. So before it becomes law, it must clear committee review, pass the Senate, pass the House, be reconciled, and then the last step will be signed by the President. This process can take weeks and years, anywhere between that. But following the current government, following the current administration, they are very pro advanced air mobility, and the big beautiful bill just underlines it. So the realistic time frame could be anywhere between 1 and probably 6 months. So we are months away. We are not years away, but also this will not impact the market immediately. Something to bear in mind. So today, this is a policy signal, not a regulatory change. And many bills, they never leave the committee. It also doesn't have to come through, but the chances are fairly high. As I said, the current background of the support of the advanced air mobility sector and eVTOLs and flying taxis is very high by the current administration. So if this passes, what does it mean? Let's come to the end of the story and let's just break it down. We can split it in two parts. First, impact on current eVTOL programs. And this is where you want to start listening as an investor. For companies like ACHR Aviation, Joby Aviation, Beta Technologies, Wisk Aero, that doesn't change much. It's not changing the certification basis. It stays as it is. It's not changing the powered lift rules. It's not changing safety standards. And it's not changing the test requirements. There's no reset, no shortcuts. This is the stride of the eVTOL 1.0, as they call it. This is the eVTOL 1.0 movement, frame, you name it, the phase of the whole advanced air mobility market. And unfortunately, it's very demanding because we have completely brand new technology that will be pioneering the sector, paving the way to the others. However, this could improve faster approval of compliance methods. This could give clearer handling of issue papers as well, because we talked about transparency, faster data reviews, and less queuing inside the FAA. So this reduces execution risk. It improves predictability, but doesn't guarantee speed. So again, for the current framework, it will not have massive impact, but for the whole eVTOL market, it can be a good catalyst. Why? Because it can impact the future programs. So think of ACHR Aviation, Joby Aviation, Beta Technologies developing brand new aircraft like a two-seater or a sports or a leisure aircraft or a cargo aircraft. That could be much easier now once this bill is in action. So for future eVTOL generations, faster, early regulatory alignment, more predictable timelines, lower regulatory uncertainty, and better capital planning as well. Because now the eVTOL manufacturers will know if this bill passes, obviously. Now the manufacturers know how long it can possibly take. It's not an open process like it is now with Beta Technologies, with Joby, with ACHR, where the process takes over a decade. It will be more straightforward. So this is what matters for you as an investor. It lowers the regulatory risk premium. Strategic takeaway. Let's just wrap it up. I'll come back. If you have any questions, fire them away in the chat. We'll quickly have a look at the charts as well, at the markets. Then I will send you off to Martyn. Strategic takeaway. Here's the big picture. In 2021, infrastructure bill built the ecosystem. And in 2025, it secured big boost with funding. This new bill tries to make the ecosystem work efficiently. Without the bill, without a big bill, there is no platform. But without this bill, there are potential bottlenecks on that platform. So together, this is infrastructure plus execution. But for now, this is only intent. This is intent, not implementation. It's a signal, not law. Let me quickly come back to the let's not do it. I'll send you to Martyn in a minute. Let's quickly have a look at the markets. Then I will come back to the studio and we go where we need to go. So markets today, the eVTOL, as we call it, the eVTOL pie is now green. It wasn't through the day. We seem to have a slight recovery. So let's quickly go through ACHR. We touched $6.55 today, but now we seem to be taking off again after the long weekend. Joby Aviation, very nice buying opportunity in there. $9.60. Vertical Aerospace, slight uptrend, but we talked about it on Saturday. Vertical Aerospace might be facing some headwinds on the stock chart. So something to bear in mind. Beta Technologies seem to be slightly recovering from the previous bottom. EHang, slight optimism as well. And we've got Horizon Aircraft that will be bouncing, as we discussed on Saturday, between $2 and $1.50 for probably a while now. This is not a financial advice. This is just my insights, how I see the market, how I see the charts, and my investment strategies I'm sharing with you so you can learn not to follow. Let's get back in the studio. We will wrap it up and I will send you off to Martyn's next show. There we go. There we go. Do we have any questions? Let's quickly catch up with the chat and we will wrap it up. And some scene issues. There we go. There we go. Right, let's quickly catch up. Okay, I do apologize for the audio issues. That is fixed now. I had wrong scenes switched. That's sorted. Thank you for letting me know. Hi Vaz, I will never get tired of eVTOL news, says Dan. William Myers is here. JD, we've got everyone. We've got the old, we've got the regulars. I love it. I love it. Kyle Delange as well. Dan, okay, so we don't have any questions. I will see you again tomorrow. I will send you off to Martyn to the next event. I'll see you tomorrow. We'll have a very interesting topic to talk about. Take care of yourselves and each other.